Shabbat Shalom. I hope you liked our little opening title. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. Just a couple of programming notes, as they say. We are, if you'll recall, are going to be off next week for the American Labor Day holiday. I say that for the couple of viewers we have abroad. And we will resume on September 11th, and then we'll be taking off most of October due to the holidays. So take a look at the newsletter, and you'll be able to find all the information there. For our members, please remember, renewal of your membership is not automatic anymore. So if you have not had a chance to send in your materials or you need to talk to the office, you can find all of that information, how to get there and to it. Should have arrived in your U.S. mail, but we know that's not always happening. And check the website for all the phone numbers and contact. Let's begin. We enter this Shabbat anxious, worried for our loved ones, worried for our nation, worried for our world. Anxious and troubled, we turn toward one another, seeking comfort and hope and strength. May we learn to turn our panic into patience, our fear into acts of kindness and support, our outrage into change. May those who are strong raise up those who are weak. May those who are young show compassion to those who are older. May those who are fortunate sacrifice for those who are not. May those on the front lines of the struggle for human rights know strength and courage. May those on the front lines of the battle for our health know wisdom and insight. And may we all see that we are one world, one people, rising up above all of this together. Continue with Hine Matov. You'll maybe notice some familiar faces.
Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, 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 yalalai la 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 la. Hine Matov u'manayim, yalalai la 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 la. Hine Matov u'manayim, hine Matov u'manayim, hine Matov u'manayim, yalalai la 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 la. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
We continue as we light our candles for Shabbat. Baruch ha'or ba'olam, Baruch ha'or ba'adam, Baruch ha'or b'shalom, Bashalom, Baruch ha'or, Baruch ha'or, Bashabbat. L'chaim, everybody, to life. How beautiful are our tents when we stand together in unity and love in the name of hope and harmony. How fragile are our tents when our fears divide us, when we allow outside winds to blow within. Who but we ourselves can define who we are, what keeps us strong, what keeps us whole? Who but we ourselves can shield us, carrying one another as one against the storm? How fair are our tents when we stand together in the name of unity, in compassion, in strength, for our children and our children's children. Ken Yehi, may we be so. Continue with a song about tents of ancient Israel, Matovu.
Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tolu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, lechu v'nelcha. Mekor habracha, ma tolu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tolu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Let us strive to lead loving, compassionate lives with our hearts, with our wisdom, and with our actions. These are the ideas that we inscribe in our innermost heart. May we practice them day and night, teaching them diligently to our children through our words and especially through our deeds, so that the next generations learn to revere and celebrate life. Continue with Efo Ori. No guests tonight, just some thoughts I want to share with you. Back in the fall of 2017, I delivered an address on Rosh Hashanah about truth. At that time, I talked about the importance of truth-telling in humanistic traditions going all the way back to the time of the Greeks, the Renaissance, and other great moments of scientific and philosophical enlightenment. I wish that truth-telling was also part of the spirit of our times. We are instead living in a period of utter chaos when it comes to the issue of truth. For many people, especially those who are accustomed to believing lies that tell them that the world is 6,000 years old or that dinosaurs and humans walked the earth together, the path to truth is gone. It's vanished. Back in 2017, I asked what would happen if we abandoned the scientific method in dealing with, and this is the example I gave, a plague. It seemed ludicrous at the time. And yet, here we are, able to trace a straight line from the lie that the dinosaurs and humans walked the earth together to the refusal to accept truth about this pandemic. We are in an election season, so I want to make it clear that this is not a candidate endorsement. I support the Johnson Amendment to the IRS code, and though I am free to endorse a candidate in my personal life, I am not here to do that in my role as Rabbi of BT. That said, I am also not going to keep my mouth closed when we face the slaughter of truth at the hands of our leaders, any leaders. In the several years since I gave that Rosh Hashanah talk, the damage to our society by lies has resulted in more death and desolation than anyone could have imagined. Whether it's the lies that climate change is not real and not affecting our planet, even as we are beset by record heat waves, unheard of fire damage, raging storms made worse by rising water temperatures in the oceans, or the lies generated by conspiracy theorists. We are under siege by those who have completely abandoned truth. One of the conspiracy theories going around now, incredible in its size and scope, is the Q Anon Theory. Think of what you would have to believe to accept its lies. You would have to believe that the world is run by a ring of Satan-worshiping pedophiles who are plotting against our nation's leaders through a deep state in order to destroy freedom and liberty. You would have to believe that this whole enterprise was designed by a large clique of Hollywood celebrities and billionaires like George Soros, who simultaneously worship Satan while engaging in human trafficking and the harvesting of a supposedly life-extending chemical from the blood of abused children with whom they also have sex. You would have to believe that this cabal is supported by one of our major political parties and that worldwide Jewry stands behind it. Consider this summary of some other beliefs of QAnon from the British newspaper, The Guardian. There are many, many threads of the QAnon narrative, all as far-fetched and evidence-free as the rest, including subplots that focus on John F. Kennedy Jr. being alive, he isn't, and the Rothschild family controlling all the banks, they don't, and children being sold through the website of the furniture retailer Wayfair, they aren't. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, George Soros, Bill Gates, Tom Hanks, Oprah Winfrey, Chrissy Teigen, and Pope Francis are just some of the people whom QAnon followers have cast as villains in their alternative reality. Back in 2017, I talked about the absurd conspiracy theory then going around that Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign was running a child prostitution ring out of the Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria, a family-owned business in Washington, D.C. That conspiracy theory, Pizzagate as it was called, led a man to fire shots at the pizza restaurant. The Guardian continues, QAnon evolved out of Pizzagate and includes many of the same basic characters and plot lines without the easily disprovable specifics. But QAnon also has its roots in much older anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. The idea of the all-powerful, world-ruling cabal comes straight out of the protocols of the elders of Zion. Lest we think that this is just one of those good old-fashioned conspiracy theories about aliens at Area 51, consider this. 3 true believers in QAnon won primary races for Congress this year. 1 is sure to be elected. That one from northern Georgia was just this week revealed to have shared a video on Twitter claiming that Zionist supremacists are conspiring to flood Europe with migrants in order to replace white populations there. Despite the factual evidence of that tweet existing, she commented that it was fake news reported by the fake news media. Back in 2017, I cited our fellow BT congregant, John Arking, a highly respected Michigan journalist, about the subject of fake news. And here's what he said. There is no fake news, doesn't exist. There is news, defined as newly received or noteworthy information, especially about recent or important events, which presupposes that the information in question is factually correct. And he continued, there is false news, otherwise known as lies. QAnon theories are a pack of lies, but they are believed by millions of people. Now, not all of it, but enough of it. Because thanks to social media, they get to hear pieces of it every day in a variety of formats. And now QAnon is headed to the House of Representatives. Professor Daniel Levitin is the author of Weaponized Lies, How to Think Critically in a Post-Truth Era. He has pointed out that the term fake news is just another in a long list of euphemisms that includes counter-knowledge, half-truths, extreme views, alt-truth, and conspiracy theories themselves. These are all euphemism to obscure what they really are, lies. And he pointed out, it's getting harder and harder for reliable sources of truth to keep up as the number of lies proliferates faster than they can knock them down. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. That was almost 4 years ago. We can see the damage that's happened since then. While QAnon is getting ready to enter Congress, provided some of it's not already there, promoting anti-vaccine propaganda, bleach as a COVID-19 cure, hoaxes that target frontline healthcare workers, we see that QAnon has turned its sights on the pandemic. Now, this is not the first conspiracy theory in our history, and it won't be the last, but it is because of social media and its reach, because of its reach into certain of our leaders and those who are seeking office, potential leaders' minds, perhaps one of the most powerful conspiracy theories in modern American history. And because it encompasses so many other lies that we hear on a daily basis, its reach goes well beyond those who believe in the Satan-worshipping pedophile part of the narrative. Think about what QAnon is saying regarding the pandemic. The coronavirus, they claim, is over, if it ever existed in the first place. The deep state continues to falsify death certificates just to scare you. Masks cause health problems, and these are far worse than the disease itself. Vaccines are dangerous. Beware. They might even use them to place nano trackers inside your body. There are others, so many others, so many lies that we consume on a daily basis. QAnon and its pack of lies is but one example. If this were not an election year and I was not trying to constrain myself, I might go into some of those too, perhaps next year. So what can we do? Back in 2017, I spent some time urging us not to be part of the problem. And it's true. We must fact check every single thing that we share with others in person or on social media. But the problem is now so serious that we may need to consider more drastic measures. Before the pandemic hit, we had a night where we discussed on a Friday Shabbat service the social media moguls. Well, maybe they need to stop refusing to take real action, constantly citing free speech as if they were part of the government and not obviously profit-motivated individuals using free speech as some kind of justification to continue providing a platform for conspiracy theorists, hate mongers, and mendacious politicians who have flooded us with a non-stop stream of lies. There is one more thing we can do. Vote. No matter how difficult they make it for us, vote. Vote for candidates who tell the truth. Vote for candidates who will work to bring the social media titans some accountability for the lies published on their sites. There's an old proverb, sometimes erroneously, gotta tell the truth, attributed to Mark Twain. It says, a lie can travel halfway round the world while the truth is putting on its shoes. In the age of instant communications, lies do not travel halfway around the world in shoe-putting-on time. No, they travel at the speed of light, up to satellites, down to servers, and right into our internet feeds before we can even blink. If we want to avoid living in the world that George Orwell imagined, it's time for all of us to stand up in defense of the truth. Continue with a reading by the philosopher and humanist A.C. Grayling about the courage required to be a human. There is a kind of courage required for the task of being human. The courage to meet the new and to accept the different in the chances of experience. Rilke gave luminous expression to this idea by saying that we need courage for the most strange, the most singular, and the most inexplicable that we may encounter. He meant the courage to accept love when it offers, to face death when it comes, to bear the burdens that life imposes in return for its gifts, and above all, the courage to create something to mark our own individual responses to the world, however modest. For even when the courage to do this is unostentatious and private, it can make a crucial difference to the content of the quality of our lives. To do so means to find peace, I should add, and that brings us to our next song, Naaseh Shalom.
Thou, Lord,
this community where we find strength and common purpose, we turn our minds and hearts toward all those who need our love and support, those who are ill, those who suffer pain of the body or spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. Tonight, I want to begin by extending our well wishes to Jacob Blake, the victim of that horrific, unnecessary criminal shooting in Wisconsin. May he see a complete recovery, and may his family and his loved ones be returned to peace and health in their lives. We also mention tonight these beloved members of our community and their loved ones. Bernice Bunny Lasker, Cece Stone, Karen Tremper Harris, Larry Fisher, Jennifer Breen, Anne-Marie Kersniak, Greg Lowenthal, Myron Tink. May all who suffer know that they are not alone. May they be healed quickly. May they experience a complete recovery, refuah shlema, the renewal of their bodies and the renewal of their spirits. Continue with Makom HaKoach. Our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every people and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall now our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Our community continues to mourn the death of a dear and honored congregant, Patty Becker, as we also observe the yahrzeits of John Gardone, Howard Slater, Willie Stone, Nathan DeRoven, Nathan Pritz, Archie Green, Cindy Klein, Fred Nolish, Phyllis Keller, Gode Metier, William W. Brown, Jenny Rubach, Bernice Gaden, and Cheryl Young. May the memories of each of these beloved people provide those who miss them with a measure of comfort as they walk through life in their absence. Well, that's it, everybody, for our Kabbalat Shabbat, welcoming Shabbat tonight. We will, as you'll remember, be off next week. And for those of you who are members, should you need me during the 5-6 days around Labor Day, you'll be directed to somebody who's standing in for me. We will be back on September 11th. September 16th is our CVS flu shot clinic at the temple. That is also the day that members can pick up their honey cake box gift set, along with other little tchotchkes and sweets for the holiday. And on September 18th, I think that's the right date, and whatever it is, Friday night, we will be here again, but in a very different format. with lots of these lovely songs, but sung by our choir, with lots of wonderful readings read by our members, with a shofar blast sounded by Jennifer Grotsky. And we're looking forward to being part of your lives during the holiday, even though we're not in person. All of the details are in the newsletter. And if you don't get the newsletter, check online at birminghamtemple.org. It's right there, a big button. You can push it. We put it up every Tuesday. That's it. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.